Neha, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Maddie, for having me.
I cannot wait to dive into everything that we talked about a little bit off air. But to get started, I would love for you just to sort of start at the beginning. How did you end up moving to the US?
I came, the way most Indians come. Me and my husband both have engineering degree. He had a job offer, and a visa, and I came as a dependent. So we had the American dream perfectly packaged and delivered to us. We were excited. He was prepared for his professional life, and I was completely prepared for, having my life as a new mom. But we were also unprepared for everything else. The first thing that hit us wasn't homesickness, but it was the food. Not because I couldn't find Indian food, I could, but because everything tasted slightly wrong, very bland. The tomatoes don't have rich flavor. The milk is homogenized. We don't find any layer of cream as we used to, get back in our motherland. So yeah, and even the wheat flour from the flatbreads, they were not sitting correct in our tummies. So I would just kept thinking that what is wrong. I think I'm not a good cook. I used to think
Really?
that. Yeah, yeah. I thought that am I not a good cook? Like why my food is not tasting the same. The quality, the flavor, even though we are adding like lots of good fats and we are having these spices, later on, I came to know nothing is authentic. The
Mm,
spices are like have lost their flavor after exporting, right?
interesting. So let me go back a little bit too, because I'm just curious. Where in India are you from?
Okay, so I'm a Gujarati, so I'm from Gujarat, the western part of India.
What is the local specialties there? Like, what are you guys really known for food wise?
Yeah, so let me just talk about the basic foods that are local, right? So whether it's your local flour that you get, you don't get an industrialized version of flour, right?
Mm,
So like locally milled from there itself. So there is one shop where you get whole grains, like wheat grains. You can actually see the difference of variety of grains kept there, right? Then there is another shop where you will take those grains and tell the another shopkeeper to mill it for me.
mm,
So it's like freshly stone grounded in front of you.
that's amazing.
Yeah, and that's the kind of food that you get at home.
Hmm.
Similar spices, like there are fresh turmeric roots, there is a fresh ginger roots. You sun dry it in your own terrace at home, and then you hand pound and grind it. So that flavor is entirely different than the ones which is sitting on the shelf for I don't know how many months, unless the expiry date just goes off.
That's such a good point. And I think, you know, your experience then coming here, and it's not like you came as a child, so it's not like you then developed a tolerance for this kind of stuff. It was almost much more apparent that there was like such a clear difference. And I think something that we talked about that I don't think a lot of people talk about is how you are one example of this experience, right? Like it applies to so many other immigrants who come to the US. And it's not just a flavor thing, it's also like how you feel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And the flavor profile is just one aspect.
Mm,
Freshness is what gives the maximum nutrient matrix
mm,
inside food, right? And when you that thing is missing, the quality when that is missing, the nutrient of that food declines.
yeah,
Even if you're eating the same, you're not getting the benefits out of it,
right.
right? So your health starts declining
Mm,
after. Your digestion is impacted, your skin becomes dull, your hair becomes brittle, right? All these things. And then when we go out for the solution is right inside our foods, but we have been catered like the solution is somewhere outside, right?
mm.
Now you get to have these berries and these chia seeds and this and that. You don't have to negate what you are already eating. And the separate solutions that you have been catered to is alienated to your culture.
Yeah, then that's exactly what I was just gonna ask you about because that is I think that's also like a product of probably the universal experience if you move somewhere different. Like I remember when I moved to China and I lived in China for a few years, my stomach took a while to adjust to that way of living. And then even too, when I moved back to the US, like my stomach had to adjust again. But it was different because I was moving back to what I had already known and I was used to those types of advice, right? It's like, oh yeah, like Greek yogurt, chia seeds, like berries, stuff like that. But that's not typically like in your diet. So I can imagine it would have been the same as like if I went abroad and I was, experiencing like digestion troubles because I'm eating an entirely new type of food and like the way that they handle food is so different over there. And then to be prescribed essentially like Chinese medicine as a thing, and I would be like, sure, I could try it, but it's not what I'm used to. So I'm wondering, like, when you got that advice, what was your thought process and what did you do afterwards?
This is so interesting. So, first of all, I would like to cover 2 points here. One, you said that when you change the countries, there is a entire health effect going on, right? And that's exactly what most people are missing, right? We are all focused on food so much that we don't realize that changing the border itself
Mm-hmm.
is high trauma experience for the body happening inside,
Hmm.
right? And this is documented. It is called the healthy immigrant effect, or you can say an immigrant paradox, where the decline just follows with it. So when immigrants first arrive, they are actually healthier than the native populations in the foreign land, especially towards the west. So we are coming with better metabolic markers, lower disease rates, heart disease rates. But with one generation, that advantage disappears completely.
Wow.
Yes, and it's with every immigrant group, whether you call Indians or you can talk about Mexicans, it's just there. So the reason is straightforward. Why? First of all, you leave behind a food system, as you completely correctly said, that your biology and your entire ancestral generations have been
Mm-hmm.
raised on, right? But
Mm-hmm.
now you are not arriving in a better food environment. You are actually arriving in a very industrial food environment
Mm-hmm.
where your body was never encountered those things. So you have new wheat varieties, you have these genetically modified versions, you have this lot of artificial colors of simple food products, cereals, like these are all processed and dry foods, right? There is this ultra pasteurization and homogenized dairy, then there is this ultra refined vegetable oils, right? There is this ultra refined table salt. Now, your digestive system doesn't recognize these inputs. Doesn't matter from where I come. Your body is expert enough that it won't accept these, ultra refined versions of the same foods, right? So it doesn't have the enzymes. It doesn't have that microbiome to handle that. Metabolic machinery needs to handle that efficiently, right? But added to that also comes the
Mm.
stress of adapting to a new country, right? Building a new life, trying to prove yourself again and again, right? Where your first language is not English, but you are still trying to communicate that, right? And then there is this, lower racial, minor racial existence as a minority. So then you have to keep up with that. So it's completely like unpredictable, and it is not your personal failure,
Right.
right? But
That's
we
a good.
just don't talk about it because nobody profits from telling immigrants to keep eating, their good food. So that's why you get all this information. Because even if the healthcare experts and professionals, they are not given enough knowledge, right? To get some knowledge about their heritage, their cultural things, so that you can integrate into your modern scientific jargon of talking to the patient.
Yeah. So then how did you sort of go from this personal experience where you're frustrated by how you're feeling and the advice isn't resonating with you to I need to talk about this and like how can I make this a business?
This is, such an important question for me because there was a specific moment in my life. I was sitting in a doctor's office. I was dealing with digestive issues and I was having like all those cystic acne that has been going on for months. So the doctor ran some test, or, they just tell me to go to this particular expert for your acne and this particular expert for your gastronomical intestinal function and everything.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah, but they couldn't find anything dramatic. right? And just they just hand you over a pamphlet, a generic pamphlet about eating more fiber, or this is the fiber powder that you can add in your smoothie bowls or any random foods that you're eating. It's completely like it will just go away, it will not affect the taste, and you have.
And nobody brought up the fact that it was probably connected.
Yes, yes, exactly. Exactly. Everything is connected. But the problem is that the modern science is built in such a way that it teaches you to look at your body parts in a different context.
Yeah, it's all
Right?
separate.
It is all separate. It's all separate. And
Mm.
but when you go about in the functional medicine or your traditional Chinese medicine or your, traditional Indian knowledge system of Ayurveda and everything, everyone talks about one root cause,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is the gap where our health suffers there.
Mm.
Even when they are, advising me that, hey, you know what, you go to particular this nutritionist or a dietitian for the personalized diet plan, because I understand doctors don't have so much of time. They are only to treat us, not heal us, right?
Mm.
So when you go out there and talk to the nutritionist also, they are also committing the same mistake because they have also learned from the same system.
Mm. So then what then so you're in this doctor's office and then you're like, this is just not working for me. What was your thoughts?
I took the matters into my own hands,
Mm-hmm.
right? Even when you go out there on internet and try to do it by yourself, it's always about calories. Limit your calories, limit your carbs, and increase your protein.
Mm.
That's the standard solution. Now, that
Mm.
solution doesn't work for any cultural background people because
Yeah.
yeah, because a particular food can have so many things. Like milk has fats also, protein also, and carbs also. So you cannot define into one particular bucket of labels.
Yeah. It's also saying too to like a Japanese person to stop eating rice.
Exactly, exactly. Rice is like a staple food for worldwide, I would say. Japanese people like it, Mexican people like it, Chinese people like it, Indian people like it, right? So you cannot tell them to, reduce your rice or just replace it with high protein quinoa. So that universal framework was like very frustrating inside my home, and I was like cooking two different meals for my family, one for myself. So I thought that, you know what, let me just study nutrition where nobody's talking about calories and macros. I wanted something different approach, and from there the gap in the business I didn't choose, actually it chose me,
Mm.
right? And that was the entire game plan when I started doing it traditionally, because the experts that were saying was nothing new. I could relate every single solution as I was grown up with. Eat
Mm.
fresh, eat local, freshly from the farm, right? Know your farmer rather than know your doctor.
Mm. I love that. I love that line.
So we have our personal farmer, like you have your personal doctor, right? So
Yeah.
when you know the farmer behind every food item that you are eating, you are good to go. The only problem was how to build it as a business and how to map my traditional wisdom into this modern life that I am choosing to live in US.
Yes. I think that's a great I'm glad that you brought that up because I would love to dig into that a little bit because I think in principle it's great. Like I would love to do that obviously, but how do you do that today?
Yes, yes. So it was so crazy. I went all out trying to research, trying to find those farmers. And interestingly, I came to know about US farmers as well. All the farmers, regardless of what ethnicity is it or what country is it, they think similar. They think about Mother Earth.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So they think how to do the farming agricultural methods in a
Mhm.
way that it protects the environment, it is ethically grown, and they serve the people. There
But
is
it's
no
hard.
agenda behind it.
Yeah. But then how do you find those like locally? Do you just go to your farmer's market?
Yes, so I started digging in, and I found one farmer market, and then I found the resources how to find the local farmer markets in your area, regardless wherever you are staying in the US, right? So one of them was localharvest.org, where you can go and find out the local farmer market. So one thing is like we are so much in our convenient bubble that you want everything to be ordered online, or you want to go into this big Costco brand store or the Whole Foods and get your stuff from there itself. Nobody's bothered to take a time away in the weekend and go out, visit the farm or visit the farmers market, right? I started doing that. I kept away my comfort, leisure time over the weekends, and I chose one Saturday or one Sunday to go out there. And that completely changed the game. We
Mm,
talked to the farmers. We talked how you are doing, how you are growing your food, what are the difficulties that you are facing, and they also spoke the same. We are also fighting against this ultra processed food system in America, where everybody is getting more sicker and sicker every decade after.
yeah. I mean, that is could be a whole other episode in and of itself on like the policies and how difficult it is for local farmers to stay in business and to have that operation. It's just like the way that the policies are built, it's not incentivizing them to continue to stay in business. But that is like a whole other can of worms. So,
Okay. But there is also one more thing I would like to cover is the people who are good financially also, right? So I would like to tell about like our immigrant group. Like we are all high techie people, and we have all good jobs, right? So
mhm.
financially also in a good state because of our hard work and the talent that we bring in together. So my question is for the people who can afford, why can't we vote with our dollars to create the demand?
Mm,
That's where I change my mentality game. We cannot be a puppet to the policies and those things which are not in our control, right? But the things that is in our control is let me not give my money to a big food market which is not
mhm.
thinking about our health, our family's health. Let me give my money to the people who are actually doing the job. And
Yes.
that's how you create the demand. And that's why I created that business around that model.
Mm,
Support your local economy wherever you are.
yeah. I think that's amazing. And I would love for you to tell the people too a little bit about your business and what it looks like and how you got it off the ground.
Absolutely, absolutely. So first of all, I just started making entire list of, food products that I want to include into my business model, right? So first thing first was let me just help at least few people. And I was so lucky that the first few clients that I received, I got was one of my college friends, right? Because they know me so well
Hmm.
since engineering days that, hey, Neha, we know her. She is so good at her own job. Instead of going to a random nutritionist, why can't you, yeah, get help from her? And she's talking so much sense. So those were my, few initial clients whom I can test what I'm trying to say. Will it even work or not? Like it's working in my house, but professionally, how will I, send my message across? Because it is a painful tactic to tell them that to discard whatever you are eating and buy something new, right? So that was the first thing I did. I got five of my very close friends and family members, and I started testing my model on them.
Mm,
It worked like a charm. I received the testimonials. My second challenge was how to do it on the social media,
yes, this is always the big challenge.
because I need to get more people on board, right, to run my business. So how do I do that? How should my brand messaging look like?
Yeah.
That's where I got lost for my initial months. I was trying to sound like every other fitness coach.
Yeah. And I love that this was something that when we talked about off air, I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you brought this up because in today's day and age, I think that this is so important and applicable. And I think it's an important challenge to talk about. We we think about this for our business, right? We're like, okay, we know what we want to do. How do we do this online? And the first thing we do is we go and look at other people who are in our industry. And I think that's fine to some degree. Like, I believe we need to get inspiration and stuff like that. But I think what we default to is trying to replicate what other people are doing because it's working for them, right? So we're like, oh, well, if it's working for them, then it'll probably work for me. And then you try it, it doesn't feel right. It feels uncomfortable, inauthentic. And then you're like, and it's also not working. And so I'd love for you to dive into how you overcame this and like what your thought process was around it, because I think it's really amazing.
Yes, so let me tell you one thing. The thing I was doing was not done by anybody else. So that was this fear that even what I'm talking will make sense to the audience or not.
Yeah.
It's never done.
Right.
So I had the first mover advantage actually. But that was the hardest part and the most fearful thing, how to keep it across. So I remember, like I was writing a caption once and something like, enjoy your biryani or your curry guilt free while still hitting your macros.
Yeah.
Stop mid sentence. Genuinely embarrassed. Not for my audience, but for myself.
You gave yourself cringe.
I did that because that's not what I believe, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
think my Indian plate needs to be defended or justified against a macro framework. That to create people who don't understand our culture, right? So I think the macro framework needs to be questioned first.
Yes. Yeah. And I love what you said, because I think it's so important. Like that framework, also, like your plate doesn't need to be defended. I think that in and of itself is such an important distinction. I think the West typically has a lot of reductory mindsets where like we're trying to close things off and like reduce, as opposed to other cultures don't even think about that kind of stuff. And to your point, you're like trying to fit a mold.
Yeah, and that cost of stopping was real. I lost followers. I in fact also lost the support from other fitness coaches,
Mm.
right? Because we were in philosophies, we were not getting along. But I did not had any problem what they are saying. The audiences who can connect to them, they can. But somehow, like I lost the support from everybody else, and I lost this easily relatability. So then, what I did was I gained something more valuable. I started attracting a closer tribe who wanted what I actually had to offer. So the audience got smaller, but significantly more serious, right? And when I started talking with the angle of immigrants, immigration, that was the emotional touch point for everyone out there.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody else was doing. Everybody was telling that, you know what, you can eat your favorite foods, your cultural foods, and still lose weight. That's it. I was talking, you change the borders. Something changed, and nobody's addressing that.
Yeah. And that's such a like universally relatable experience, right? Like it's just not beyond Indian, but to anybody who's changing borders anywhere, it does affect your health. And I think it's important to stop and recognize that first, and not just come at it from like I actually think this is kind of a meta discussion, because again, you're not treating it at the symptom level, right? Like gaining weight or digestion issues, like that is all symptom level, where you're like, the root cause is because you're in a different place. And you need to then apply similar principles to what you do in your home country to your new country. It's not like you're losing the weight is going to solve the problem.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Because, the symptom level solutions are very restrictive,
Mm-hmm.
right? They tell you to restrict this, that, be mindful of your calories. You need to restrict a certain portion of rice. You need to restrict the sweeter fruits, whatever it may be, right? But here I'm giving them more freedom, the right places to look for. And then the knowledge is already there with you. You have seen your mother's cooking, you have seen your grandmother's wisdom passing on from one generation to another. You have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's our actually the most, I would like to say, the golden point that we have. We have our living culture still living,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now you just need to apply those knowledge system into the better environment. So I remember I started unfollowing all those experts. I started blocking them because
That's
I
amazing.
wanted to hear my own voice.
Yeah. And I think that's so applicable. Like everybody goes through that, right? We all, honestly, like we all wanted to do what you did. We all want to unfollow all the noise we could start hear ourselves, but nobody ever takes that leap. And I think it's amazing that you did that. And I would love for you to like dig into that a little bit more too, because I'm sure that must have been uncomfortable and weird. But what was it like when you started to hear yourself again?
I mean, it sounds dramatic, but it was completely necessary to block them, right? To mute them, to block them. I was consuming so much content from people in my space that I couldn't tell any more which thoughts were mine, right? To the point that when I started creating resources for the program, I was creating this, pie chart, how much maintenance calories are there, and what are the percentage of the carbs that you should be exactly eating according to your BMI. I was doing those shit. But every time I sat down to write, I had 12 other voices in my head. Like, is this too similar to what she said? Am
Mm,
I contradicting him? Or am I positioning correctly related to this framework? So the noise was suffocating my actual thinking.
mm,
Before my next client enrollment, I teared up all those pages and I just followed my heart, what I knew in my mind, the knowledge that I'm carrying. Just let me talk to that person now because I don't have any, document kind of thing to present them. So unfollowing it, blocking it, and sitting for months with my own voice, it
mhm.
took a lot of courage and energy. And most people don't do this because they call it inspiration. But what it is actually, what impact you want to create, you need to remember your why,
Yes,
right?
yes,
This is the real why, your own struggles. Why was it so painful? And you are here to do exactly the same, help others come out of that pain,
yes,
bring
yes,
back your joy, your lost signal, your
yes,
lost intelligence.
yes. I think this is so important for any business owner who's listening. Like, your story is so applicable and it's so important. And I think about this a lot, even for myself, as I'm entering into this new phase of like starting a business. And how do you, I think in the irony of it, we want to separate ourselves from everybody else that's out there because otherwise we have no differentiation. And in that process, we start to consume content in order to find that like niche of differentiation, but that dilutes our own thoughts. And again, the irony is you kind of have to come back to the beginning and say, like, you know why you started this. And there's also a level of self trust that your own unique perspective, your own unique why, because it is different. Like, I think even down to, my industry, like skincare companies, right? Like, every skincare company has a different mission and that impacts their why. And the reason that those are successful is because those whys are successfully articulated throughout the entirety of the business model. And if you are unable to hear that in the first place, you can't articulate it. And you really do need to go back to the beginning and trust in yourself and do the hard work of almost like shutting out everything else
Yes.
to take the next step.
Yes, yes. You have put it into such a great way, into a very apt way, because I can understand, that you should do a simple test. After consuming something, you do want to create, or you do want to copy, or you want to inspire that sharpens what you are making, right? There is another signal, that is energy. Are you
Mm,
feeling drained? But is that uplifting you?
mm,
So you take the inspiration only from those people who is uplifting you,
mm.
right? But if it is draining your energy, you need to block them. You don't need
Yep,
inspiration from them,
yep,
right? And then the people who are uplifting you, that energy, it comes through even through the screens. You know that, right? So if that is an uplifting energy that you are gaining from that person's account, learn from them, right? Have a physical copy pen actually, right?
yes.
Yeah, that is so important where you can just note it down and that physicality will actually bring that manifestation also, like a physical manifestation.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I keep a little notebook in my bedside table because I have thoughts right before bed. And the worst is when you say that you're going to remember it. And then, of course, you never do. And I always forget. And so I always keep pen and paper somewhere nearby for just in case.
Yeah, it's such a great practice. I mean, it's the old way, but it's the most useful way I have ever come across. And then when you then go through those notes to create your own business model, your messaging, your brand, that helps you because that is filtered down what you are thinking in your own mind. It is not coming from other people now. You are just means you have become an instrument through which you want to pass this knowledge.
Yep.
right? And
Yeah.
that's the distinction I think everybody should be taken care of.
Yeah, and I love how everything that you're saying, like from the reason you started your business to how your business operates, down to how you think about the positioning, the messaging, the marketing of it, is so authentically you. And I think that's really beautiful. And speaking of brand messaging, I think I would love for you to talk a little bit about your experience with marketing, because when you're a business owner, you have a dream and great vibes. And then you're hit with all these crazy words like funnels and like positioning and SEO and like all these words that feel strange. And you're like, oh, I don't know anything about that. Like maybe I don't know anything about any of this. But what was the hardest for you to learn in sort of the practical side of getting your business off the ground and running? And like what did you see in this process that I think other people maybe missed because they weren't seeing it from their unique perspective?
Exactly. This is so funny. Let me give you a small context, right? Like from what part of world I was coming. How was the marketing from today, 5 years back or 10 years back? How was it? Right? So the place I come from, how is the marketing done in a very local aspect also? Is like you get a printout and you print a good advertisement on a A4 size paper or any colorful paper, and then you paste it in the market in a light post or near any, like a crowded marketplace. You go and paste it in random places, in near random shops, and where people will come and they will go and read, and somehow you are just hoping that they will read and there is a number there, and they will go and message you that, hey, I'm looking for this service, can you help me? So that's the place I come from.
Same everything.
That was so easy, right? Or you just give some money to the media people, and then you can have your pamphlet actually inside the newspapers. So when in the morning people are reading the newspapers, ta-da, you find my pamphlet there, right? Advertising about my service. But now everything has changed.
Mm,
It's become digitalization is there,
mm,
and I have to learn these new terms. I couldn't even understand what a funnel is. Like for me, funnel comes like the filtration oil funnel that we keep in our kitchens, and I'm thinking, how is the information going to pass through this funnel and how exactly it's getting filtered out, right? So I hired a business coach first of all, and that is very important. You get the guidance from the expert who knows it.
mm,
So now here the hardest thing to learn is that clarity is not same as simplicity.
mm.
As
Agreed.
an engineer, we are trained to be very precise. But marketing rewards being not for being precise. It rewards for being resonant.
Hmm.
Those are the different skills, both to be very precise and get the output done, rather than being relatable and resonant. There are this resonant frequency that we talk about. So my resonant frequency of the business I'm building should match with the audience who are trying to look for the solutions, right? So the precise language will tell people exactly what you do, but the resonant language makes people feel why it matters.
Yes, yes, that's such an important distinction.
Yeah, yeah. So I kept writing accurate description of my work.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It just left people completely unmoved, right? But when I started speaking from the heart,
Mm,
right, in their own language rather than the universal language, they started connecting to me. Oh wow, Neha, I even didn't think of this. The way you are speaking is exactly how I'm feeling. But nobody has talked in such a great, clear manner the way you are speaking to us. And hell yeah, why do I need to change my food? I won't. So they get this rebellious thing, they have that strong feeling, and then they message me that what is that you are doing and we don't know about.
yeah. I do think that marketing today is like, while more quote unquote sophisticated, it is still kind of the same as you print out a thing and you put it on a message board and you hope that the right people see it. And I feel like even back home, people are testing, they're trying different colors, they're trying different words. It's a slightly smaller scale, but in theory, it should apply similarly to today, because like even if you, take away all of the jargon,
Yeah.
it's still the same at the end of the day, right? Like, are you hitting people where they need to be so that they can be moved towards action?
Yes. So here is the one thing. So again, the thing that actually helped in my marketing was my own heritage.
Mm,
Now I would like to, ask you just a simple question. So whatever culture you belong to, you have some spiritual text, right? Or some philosophical text for your own that is coming from your own culture and your heritage. What is the part that keeps you connected to that book and read it again and again? Is the storytelling aspect.
totally.
They told stories to give one message, right?
Hmm.
Why do they tell stories? Because unless we feel it, we are not going to apply that philosophy in our own life. So when I also started reading my own scriptural text and everything, our own scriptures, it was so fascinating that if there is one moral of the story that they want to convey, they are playing this play like on a stage, right?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
story for us.
Okay, wait. That's such a good point. It's, obviously I'm not saying that Harry Potter is my version of scripture, but in the same way, I think that you take advice differently, right? Like if somebody were to tell me, "Oh, you need to be courageous, you need to be brave," you're like, "Okay, yeah, that's whatever. Thanks for the unsolicited advice." But if you're told the story and you see the character acting in those ways, you're much more, to your point, able and willing to apply it.
Exactly, exactly. So even as adults, we become that curious kid listening to
Mhm.
the story again, right? And when you were 5 years old, when you were listening to the same story, something else was resonating. But now, when you are 18 years old, something else is resonating.
Yeah.
So that just needs to be there. That storytelling aspect needs to come into your marketing. And it's never going old. Storytelling was right from when this universe was created, and
Yeah.
it's more relevant.
Yes.
Because
Absolutely.
that's the only way you can, touch the hearts of the audiences, and you can really feel now your business is not only about monetary exchange,
Yes.
right? We are literally here to make a meaningful impact.
Yes. Gosh, I think about this all the time, and I talk about this all the time. I think it's so important to have something outside of your business that you're building towards and you're building for. Because if you're just building for profit, it will feel shallow and it won't keep you going through the hard times, because there's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be tons of challenges. And what gets you through that is the idea that you're making an impact, a positive one, in a better way. And without that, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm overgeneralizing, but like for me, I'm on the same page as you, where that has to be a part of it. Otherwise, I can't be in it for the long run.
Yeah, you become a robot, just
Mm,
calculating everything.
yes.
And that calculative, if you are not having that calculative nature, there are many people who have that. And that is also okay if that is coming from their part. But that's not who I am.
Mm,
My business reflects who I am as a person. And I really think it should reflect. Only then you won't take it as a job that you have to show up every day, you have to hit these numbers or hit these followers or hit this kind of financial account that you are trying to build. No, that is the byproduct of your higher purpose, what you're trying to achieve.
yes. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
that's fun, actually.
I agree completely. I think it's a much better experience as a business owner. And speaking of that, I would love to know, because like obviously, you were an engineer before this, and I don't know if that was ever on your roadmap to have a business, but I'm curious to know how being a business owner has shaped you as a person.
Wow. Loaded question, but a very good one. So I'll tell you, even though I'm not into a engineering job,
Mm.
pretty much doing what I learned, that is to create,
Mm.
right?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I had this memory in my college days. So I'm very good in software coding. So this was this class happening. The lecture was there where the experts like professors and even, head of the departments are taking repeated lectures to understand a particular code concept to entire class, entire batch. Nobody could ever understand how it's actually going to happen. So the girls used to come on one that Neha, you make us understand. How
Mm.
is it happening? Because you have got the topic well, but how are you doing it? So I used to teach them one on one. Then one of the student randomly said that, do you know what? Why don't you come out in front of the class and teach entire class how to do this? Because we have changed like three professors and even the head of the department has come and taught us, but nobody's getting the concept right. So I went there ahead and in front of the 100 people, I explained them in such a easy language that everyone could now understand. So I
Hmm.
think that is my USP, that I make difficult concepts into such simple thing. Again, storytelling or telling them not to, memorize or mug up. You have to remember the logic behind it. Why are you doing what you are doing? And then you can apply your own rules. You don't have to be rigid to follow those particular rules that professors or the book is telling you to do.
That's so cool. I love that it's kind of like a full circle moment where being a founder has made you realize what your superpowers are.
Exactly, exactly. So I don't think so. My engineering thing has gone waste. No, I actually that helped me to find out my own superpower in which thing I'm better at. I I knew I'm good at creating things, and I'm also good in making people feel safe,
Mm.
right? Because I'm conveying it in a very simpler language, not in a very hi-fi language. And that's why even inside my business, inside my marketing, everywhere, where everyone is telling that this is evidence backed, this is science backed, I'm not telling that because it's so difficult to remember all the terms.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer in a courtroom where I have to present every evidence.
Mm-mm.
That's not health and nutrition, I think.
No, you're just cooking at home, you know?
Exactly. So I make it so simple that you don't even have to remember, is this a fiber or a protein?
Mm. That's amazing.
So yeah, it
Okay.
changed me as a person. Like, be grounded. You don't have to talk everything in a very hi-fi level. Just stay grounded and be true to your roots, and you're good to go.
And I think that's an important thing to remember as a founder too. Like you really do need to be grounded throughout the process.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, before we wrap up, I'm going to ask you what your founder stack is. And I ask all my guests this, but it is 7 rapid fire questions about your journey thus far.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, first question. What is a tool that you live and die by?
Canva.
Ah, same. I love Canva. I would be lost without it.
Yeah.
What is the best money you've spent on your business under 5,000?
On my community platform,
What platform do you use?
I use Circle.
Okay.
And yeah, trust me, I have tried school. I have tried other group communities like Mighty Networks also. But there is something like I like my eyes to be very pleasing, right?
Yes. Yes.
So this creative knack, it should be pleasing to my eyes. It should look beautiful. Circle offers that.
Okay.
Not just that, but also the functionality also. Of course, the communities are there. Even the email marketing is there in one. So I'm not like connecting to Zapier or to other third-party apps now. It's everything inbuilt. Plus, it looks beautiful. For
That's
me,
great.
beautiful is very important. I can't
Me too.
stress that enough.
No, me too. I'm a Libra. Everything has to be nice. Like,
I'm a Libra too.
yes.
I'm plus the number one. So I'm born
Yes.
on one, right? So like it has to be top notch. If it's not looking good, even though all the functionality is there, I will discard it.
Absolutely. No, I'm the same way. I'm 100% aesthetic, sometimes over function. I try to have both, but every once in a while, like, does it come in pink? Like, Okay, what is a book or resource that has influenced your entrepreneurial experience?
I would tell I read Bhagavad Gita, which is our scriptures, and that has changed how I run my business because
Mm,
it's the real life philosophical things. And when I try to read other books, I feel that it is the same message that already has been written there in Bhagavad Gita.
Wow.
So yeah, so I once in a while I just take that book, and that's an interesting thing I would like to share here, Maddie, is that if you have some question right inside your mind, something is troubling, and you are trying to find the solution, just randomly you open any page of that book,
Mm,
the solution will be there.
wow.
Those
That's
texts will communicate in such a way that you will find the solution.
mm, that
So
makes me want to read it.
yeah, so I always go there. I'm just attracted to it.
That's a great answer. I love that one. Okay, what is one belief or assumption you had when you started your entrepreneurial journey that is now completely reversed?
That I need to please all of the experts in the same line. I don't.
Yep.
I have my own say, and it's okay if nobody agrees with it. But I'll just stay true to myself because I'm here to help the people, not please other experts.
Yes. Yes. 100%. And you can't get anywhere by appeasing everybody because then you're just selling to no one.
Correct, exactly. And then you will find your own tribe. Just like you find your own tribe in family, you find your own tribe in college, friends, relations. Similarly, you find your own tribe in business also.
That's great advice. Next question. Okay. No matter how crazy your day gets, what is the one thing you look forward to that you are not sacrificing?
No, I'm not sacrificing, self-care, which looks like either it's a oil massage in my body
Mm,
or going out and sitting with Mother Earth. I'll
mm,
just sit on her lap, right?
yes.
Be grateful of what she's offering so much to us selflessly, and what are we doing in return, right?
Mm,
Sometimes I like feel, whenever you feel lonely also in your business decisions and everything, you're not lonely. She is there.
hmm.
She'll just hug you and make you feel good, like you're a small kid pampering you, and it's really a good feeling. Just stay with
Mm. That's amazing. I love that answer.
me.
Okay, two questions. What brand in or outside of your industry is really inspiring you right now?
I'm so bad at it, I don't follow any particular brand.
Love that.
Yeah, I seriously don't know, maybe I'm not consuming so much.
That's great though. But do you have do you have any like foods or anything that you love right now? Any like all natural varieties or anything like that?
Oh, yes, I think I'm in love with the people who are trying to bring cultural wisdom back to the
Mm,
modern life, right? I remember you telling me, Maddie, that you are all now creating such great products with tallow because that was culturally done before. And I love that aspect. So I'm here to support all those businesses who bring traditional Chinese medicine as a, in the mainstream, not as an alternative medicine, who brings yoga and Ayurveda as a mainstream, who is bringing the ancestral wisdom as a mainstream, because this is the OG medicine. This is
yes.
not an alternative medicine at all. The modern science is becoming alternative because it's literally rediscovering the same thing that was present 5,000 years before,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
all the brands who are trying hard to bring the ancestral wisdom back to our modern lives in a most ethical and authentic way. I'm all for that.
Agreed. And the yoga thing is real too. Like I go to a great studio down the street from my house and I go to this particular teacher and we always do these like incredible chants beforehand and she plays an instrument during it and like you can tell that that's how she was taught. I don't know where she was taught, but I leave that class feeling so good. And not just from like a traditional exercise endorphin perspective, but I genuinely feel so at peace and that, is traditional and it's medicine to me.
Yes, and that's the missing point, Maddie. I'll tell you why do we crave these traditional practices wherever it is originating from, doesn't matter. But why do we care or crave for that? It's because the modern life has made us so disconnected, right? From our bodies, from our relations. It's always like go, 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 hustle, 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 try to prove yourself, right? And that's why human nature is in such a way that you need to feel grounded. You need to feel that safety inside. And where do you find? If everywhere else there is noise, you find it in exactly these traditional practices.
Yeah, that's incredible. Okay, last one, and then I'll let you go. But what is a song or album that you have on repeat right now?
Wow. Okay, song. So there is this new Indian cinema movie that has been released, and it is
Mm.
on Lord Krishna, who plays flute, and he has all the dancers around him, like all the villagers who is dancing in colorful, dresses. So yeah, there is this song of Krishna Avtaram, and yeah, it's like playing in the loop. And I'm also a dancer, so I also dance like that, only pretending that I'm, moving around the Lord Krishna and having fun with him.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Neha, thank you so much for being here. That was incredible.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's a wrap on today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. You can find all the links to connect with Neha in the show notes. If you feel called to support the podcast, leave a review or comment below. If you're looking to contribute, I would be deeply honored if you wanted to buy me a matcha. The link is below. And if you enjoyed this episode and are looking for more before the next one, dive into the Well on Substack. There you'll find more founder wisdom and essays on entrepreneurship. See you next week.